Thank you. Thank you very much. We probably should have had this seminar at the Luxor Hotel because we have a fetish for pyramids, apparently, between all the different speakers that we have. We could have maybe superimposed that on the outside of the Luxor. When we go through this presentation today, you're going to learn about the 7 different levels of becoming a complete loan officer. And what I'm going to ask you to do is to take notes in accordance with those different levels. So the first level is essential knowledge, and is symbolized with an E. The second level is selling and presentation, symbolized with an S. The third level is marketing, symbolized with an M. The fourth level is operational systems, symbolized with an O. Then team building, symbolized with a T. Balance and behavior with a B. And the peak of the pyramid is your legacy, and that is symbolized with an L. From this point forward, anytime you hear someone say something from this stage that you think is profound and something that you need to make note of, I would like you to very quickly condition yourself to associating it with one of the 7 levels of the pyramid, and just simply put a little letter next to that note to the right-hand side and circle it. So in this particular example, send out a business booster to each of my targeted realtors every Monday to assure that I am buying brain cells. Develop a consumer direct marketing strategy to generate new purchase business by targeting renters. Those would both be marketing-related notes. They would fall into that third tier of the pyramid under marketing. You would simply, after writing that note, just label it over to the right with a little M and a circle around it. This will become more clear to you in about 90 minutes when I'm done with my presentation, and we will revisit this thought process very briefly at that point in time. Okay. Without further ado, the pyramid of a complete loan officer. All right. The pyramid of a complete loan officer starts with a stable foundation, and that stable foundation is essential knowledge. What is essential knowledge? How to read tax returns, how to take a proper loan application, how to structure difficult loan transactions, understanding the financial markets, how to put tough deals together, how to understand and master the credit scoring model. These are all foundational, essential knowledge issues. Now, the unfortunate fact, folks, is that when we start in this business, because of the nature of how we are paid, we are not afforded the opportunity to go to school. The ideal set of circumstances would be to go to school for 3 to 6 months and learn all of this essential knowledge stuff. Why is it that on that rate sheet, some of the rates that are provided have a hash mark in front of them and the others have brackets? I mean, they all mean the same thing, they're rebate. But how is it that we can learn all of these little intricate details, such as how to read appraisals and credit scoring and all of that type of stuff? Well, we have to learn it on the fly. We have to learn it in the trenches, day one, and the unfortunate fact is that we don't have the time to lay down the proper stable foundation in most cases because we got to get loans in our pipeline. Now, a lack of this essential knowledge creates what I refer to as the reluctant caller. The reluctant caller is the person who is afraid to pursue a CPA when they've only been in the business for 2 weeks, fearful of going into that real estate office and pursuing that top producing real estate agent in their marketplace when they've only been in the business for 2 short weeks. Why do they have call reluctance? Well, call reluctance comes from a lack of internal confidence. You see, gang, all successful salespeople, no matter what they're selling, whether it be automobiles, insurance, homes, or mortgages, believe passionately and with vigor and confidence in their product. And in this business, the product is not your interest rate. It better not be. It's not your company. It is you. You are the product. So let me ask you a question. How is it that you're going to effectively sell yourself at the highest level possible if you go into a sales situation and you know deep down inside you don't know shit? Can't happen. But you see, when we first start in this business, that's how we feel. We don't want to be hit with a tough question and say, I don't know. That's why we avoid those situations, those dangerous situations like the plague. We don't want to walk into that real estate office and be labeled forever. I don't know about you, but the first deal that I get from a real estate agent never looks like this. 810 FICO, $500,000 in the bank, debt-to-income ratios of 12/18, 50% down. No. And for good reason. They're all married. They all already have a loan officer, and that loan officer has seen that deal, and if it was an easy vanilla layup shot, they took it down. And if they couldn't take it down, you get it. You see, every day you are provided with opportunities. Some are very obvious, some are somewhat transparent. But all day long, opportunities come right in front of your face. It could be as simple as you running into a past customer at Starbucks. It could be you having an opportunity to do a loan transaction, and there are various people that you could be cross-selling during the loan process: the listing agent, the insurance agent, the closing agent, the home inspection person, the title person, all of these myriad of opportunities that Greg Frost will talk about tomorrow in his action marketing system. Opportunities galore. Now, if you have the knowledge, which feeds into your confidence, allows you to have your chest stuck out, head held high, knowing that you know your stuff, you can kick the door of opportunity wide open. Step on through the doorway and see what's on the other side. And sometimes it's life-changing. Not career-changing, life-changing. But there are too many times when we first start in this business that that door of opportunity is slammed right in our face. And we will never know what's on the other side of that door if we do not master this first foundational level of the pyramid, which is essential knowledge. I'll tell you a story. And I can tell you dozens of stories. The second best story is involving my partner, Steve Silverman, and how I met him. But the best story of using essential knowledge to kick the door of opportunity open is the story of Ed and Cheryl Smith. Ed and Cheryl Smith, husband and wife, Ojai, California. I live about 45 to 50 minutes south of Ojai, California, about a 50-mile drive. I had never done a loan in Ojai, California before, and one day I received a telephone call by a gentleman by the name of Barry Moore. And Barry Moore was a real estate agent with RE/MAX Realty in Ventura, and he said, "Tim Braheem, Barry Moore, I don't know if you remember me. We were on a conference call about 6 months ago. I ran a very difficult transaction past you. We were unable to put the transaction together because my buyer, decided to back out. They had another one for you, and I want to be honest with you." And that's when I knew that this was a very odd conversation, because he was a realtor and he was being honest. And I said, "Yeah, Barry, keep it coming." I was waiting for Rod Serling to pop out around the corner, and I thought I was in the Twilight Zone. So Barry says, "I want to be honest with you." He said, "The Bank of America rep in Ojai could not do this deal. The Chase Manhattan rep, who's owned the Ojai Valley for 10 years, could not do this loan. 3 mortgage brokers that looked at it, and nobody can find a home for this loan." Now, this was in 1997. I had just heard that conversation a couple years prior from Bill Dallas about FICO scoring. Well, I'll tell you, back in 1997, credit scoring existed, but it still did not yet have any profound impact on underwriting decisions. You didn't have things like 80-10, 10 stated. It didn't exist back then. Ed and Cheryl's credit score was 665. It was respectable, yes. But their adjusted gross income, line 22 of the front page of the tax returns, was $98,000, and they wanted to buy a $900,000 loan and put down 10%. You don't need that little calculator that I gave you in your bag last night to figure out they didn't qualify. 98 grand is certainly not enough to buy a $900,000 home with 10% down. Nobody could find a home for this tough deal. So I called Ed and Cheryl Smith on the phone one day and I said, "Let's go over it." Now, I just started to really pride myself on this foundational level of the pyramid. I started to spend considerable time with accountants and financial planners, understanding how to read tax returns, digging through the schedules, understanding the difference between a subchapter S corporation and a sole proprietorship and add backs and 2106 non-reimbursed business expenses, and those very vital things that underwriters look at, because I wanted to have a fighting chance. I didn't want to have to just bow down when an underwriter said no. I wanted to be able to fight and know the guidelines as well as they knew them, and in some cases, better than they knew them. It's going to be a lady by the name of Mimi Kelly up on stage here this afternoon. 350 loans she's going to do this year, and she's been in the business for 2.5 years. Her unique selling proposition is essential knowledge. And you will see this afternoon how powerful it is if you have it in your arsenal. So I looked at Ed and Cheryl Smith's tax returns, and I thought that there was something odd. $1.4 million in gross receipts in the calendar year of 1996 on their tax returns. Wrote it down to 98 grand? Now, I'm not an IRS agent. I wasn't doing an audit of them, but the reality of it is that those are some pretty thin margins. So as I dug in further, I saw that they had an inordinate amount of write-offs associated with equipment that they had purchased. Tractors and skip loaders. You see, Ed and Cheryl Smith owned a grading company. They moved dirt in preparation for building new homes. And I said to them, I said, guys, I said, is this normal that you'd buy $750,000 worth of tractors and skip loaders? Let's not even get into the fact that you bought it cash, which is just insane, and you're not taking advantage of the ability to finance it. And they said, oh, no, Tim, not at all. That's not the norm. That was the anomaly. I said, can I see the 1994-95 tax returns? No equipment purchased. This was a one-time gig. So I dug further. Why'd you buy $750,000 worth of tractors and skip loaders? Well, we just signed 2 major contracts, Tim, with Larwin Homes and Kaufman and Broad to handle all of their grading for all of the new home developments in Ventura County over the next 3 years. We are busy bees for the next 36 months. How are we looking this year, guys? Oh, we're looking great. Here we are. It's only November through October's bank statements. We got about $1.6 million deposited. A lot of it's coming to the bottom line because we bought all that stuff in advance. Got pink slips? Absolutely. You got those contracts from Larwin and Kaufman? Yep. Can I have those 10 months worth of bank statements? I think I'd like to put together one hell of a cover letter and a profit and loss statement for you year to date to give myself a fighting chance to argue with this underwriter that this loan should be done. 2 days later, 75-day escrow. Those of you who aren't in an escrow state, 75-day contract. 2 days later, with 73 days left, I had loan approval from RFC. Cub Funding was the lender, RFC was the investor, a lady named Cheryl was the head underwriter, and I put together a bulletproof package that sold Ed and Cheryl Smith to this underwriter. Now, this was the first loan I had ever gotten approved in Ojai, California. And over the course of the next 2 or 3 weeks, I received the same phone call 3 different times from Larry Wild, the listing agent. The listing agent on this transaction also happened to be the owner of the Caldwell Banker office in Ojai, and he kept calling me and saying virtually the same thing. Timmy, when are you going to call me with the bad news, pal? Larry, I don't have any bad news for you. I told you this deal is done. Draw docs. Let's close early. I'd like to have this one out of my pipeline. I'm sure you'd like to get paid. I'm making one on the front, one on the back. It's like an $18,000 check to me or something like that. Let's get it closed. Come on, Timmy. The Chase Manhattan reps owned Ojai for 10 years. She couldn't do it. B of A couldn't do it. 3 mortgage brokers. You're 27 years old. Why you? It doesn't make sense. Hey, Larry, I don't know what to tell you, but I can tell you that when it comes to getting the difficult loans done, that's my specialty. I want to earn your business by showing my knowledge in structuring tough deals. Now, we closed that loan. And do you know that 6 months ago when I ran a most recent report, I've closed 411 loans in Ojai, California? All because of that one deal. Because you see, from there, Larry Wild invited me into his office to do office presentations once a quarter for all of his realtors. Before you know it, Shar and Jerry Michaels, Mike Willett, all the top producing real estate agents in Ojai were giving me all their business, all of this 27-year-old kid who was 45 miles away, because I displayed my knowledge and reliability. And that is why essential knowledge is so vital to your success. And I will tell you, as we go through the remainder of the pyramid, shit rolls uphill in the pyramid of a complete loan officer. And if you are deficient, if you are dysfunctional at the lower levels of the pyramid, it will impact the higher levels of the pyramid very significantly.